Okay, my friends, here it is. The Saturday morning live stream at the Garden Like a Viking headquarters, Zone 5/6, Northern Indiana. We've got a beautiful day today. Guys, let me know. Can you hear me? Is this thing working? Beautiful day, guys. It has cooled off significantly. I don't know what it's like where you're at, but it's probably pretty cool. I mean, it is like 15 degrees below normal right now, which, what is normal anymore? I mean, what it really is normal? I thought that I knew what normal was here for several years, and then it just completely is something else now. So this year has been an awesome growing year so far. We have had just amazing weather. It's never gotten too hot. It was pretty hot in the 90s and real muggy and stuff for a while, but it has cooled off. I mean, like significantly. I just can hardly believe it. I don't remember. It like fell off a cliff. Whoops. Whoops. It like fell off a cliff. And so look, I mean, tonight the low is 48. And we don't really have much rain on the forecast, which is unfortunate, but thankfully everything's pretty much ripening up. Look at the weather forecast here. 48 are the lows. Yeah, 46. Look, I mean, it's straight up, and that 83 degrees 10 days from now, that's going to change. Definitely. That'll change. It always does that. It goes like 83, and then the next time I look at it, it's down to 70 something. Sunday was supposed to be that hot as well. But man, pretty wild. So I tell you what, though, the cabbage, the bok choy, well, everything's pretty much loving it. The collard greens is loving it. The peas would be loving it, except that I'm just having infestation of sparrows. Guys, I don't know if you know sparrows, but they are the worst bird you could imagine. Just because they travel in flocks and they destroy other birds, much prettier birds. They destroy their nest, and then they destroy all of your peas as well. It's apparently their favorite food in the world, because this lady over here has got a bird feeder constantly and just has birds just all the time filling our bird feeder. But yet, and the sparrows come back here, they have that whole huge garden, all right? And they go only for the peas. They just devour the peas. I see them back there just shredding the peas, tearing it away. Shiva don't even care. She just looks, whatever, can't be bothered. I'm just waiting on my raw chicken leg and raw beef liver. So that's not going to happen at the land, though. I'll tell you that. When we get the land and we have the homestead, there's going to be a gaggle of Maine Coons. We're going to get a couple of Maine Coons and let them breed for a while until we have a huge, infestation of Maine Coons on our hand. Those big cats, but that's fine, because the cats you can tolerate them. And with the Viking growing system now, the cat is no longer a problem. I mean, zero problem as far as destroying the crops. So got that sorted out. But the thing that is the problem is the rodents, the chipmunks. Not here, thankfully. Shiva has totally eliminated the chipmunks. They were bad here for the first couple of years. There was just, I could hardly plant anything. The chipmunks would just take it and go hide it, take it, go hide it. But now Shiva's put a stop to that. And we have, sorry about that. Come on, shut your phone off. Show some respect. We have now, though, the aerial assault of the sparrows, and they're just a filthy little bird. I really don't like them a lot. I mean, I just don't like them at all. And so therefore we can't grow any peas. I mean, we have to, I would have to make a big elaborate thing and I've tried several times, and somehow they get under it or over it. It's just, oh man. So yeah, really don't be liking them sparrows, guys. Silver Sage says, our cats love sparrows. Oh, I bet. My cats brought me a rabbit a few nights ago. We have bird bodies all over. Yes. Yes, the cats are wonderful. That's why, and they're perfect for a ranch, for a farm. I mean, for a homestead, for an operation where you got food, growing food. They're wonderful for it, so long as you can mitigate the digging, which was the huge issue for several years with the cat. And for several years, that cat was in the neighborhood cats. Of course, there's tons of neighborhood cats. Was the biggest destroyer of the garden. actually. But now with the Viking growing system, we've not had any of that this year. It's been awesome. Yeah. That's right. Big Will Dog says, welcome to the Viking homestead, but don't mind our herd of wild cats. That's right. Wild Maine Coons, in fact, which if you've not seen those, they are amazing. And so surely they are good. I just think because they're bigger, they would be good at hunting little things like rabbits and stuff like that, you know? So hopefully that's the case. Hmm? Yes, Big West says, my cat's a mouser. She brought me 3. New to outside, she's old, so not bad learning. Yes, definitely. Have not seen any mice since we get in Shiva. Definitely. Yeah, Keith Scott, I know, bird netting. That's what, I mean, I've set the bird netting up all over and stuff, but unless I just make like a huge elaborate dome over the whole area that's covered in bird netting, I mean, it doesn't, it's difficult. It's more difficult than it seems. I've tried it for several years and it was super elaborate and big and it worked. Yes, it worked. But I can't be going to that extent. I mean, that's like a ridiculous extent. So there will be, you know, at the ranch, like we will probably make a section that is totally netted off, you know, like maybe with chicken wire of some kind, but for just for certain crops that are really attacked hard, which peas, I don't understand. It's the growing tips. They like the growing tips and they just devour. You see my whole row of peas, they're about this tall and just look like they've been just put through a meat grinder at the top. Just and just all sad and looking just totally like someone took a shotgun to the top of them and they're just, you know. So, and I see the sparrows back there just tugging on them as hard as they can. And so at the ranch, we will have the Maine Coons, but also we won't be having all these neighbors. So we can just, that will definitely happen. Easily could happen here, except there's just too many kids, obviously, neighbors and stuff. So even with the air, even with the old Benjamin, this thing is amazing, by the way. I mean, absolutely. If you guys need one, this is a really good one. That the Benjamin trail, it's just a brake barrel like that. And it's totally silent, just 22 caliber, just real silent, super accurate when you dial it in. So I know I could easily hit them with it, but I'm just not, I just can't be doing that here, you know what I mean? So when we're at the land, we'll have the, like a suppressed 22. That's what we use for that. Because eventually they'll get the idea, you know? And then we will just feed them to the hogs at that point, or the hog. So, yes, Dusty Flat says, I'm so loving this cooler weather. Those dew points, corn, sweet, and heat was unbearable all summer. Yes. I wonder where you're at. But the cooler weather is definitely amazing. And how many of you have noticed that the tomatoes are ripening now with a hurry? Yeah? With a hurry. Silver Sage, 48 degrees? No. I would say it's still August, technically, right? It's still August. So that is, I mean, we can see here that, so the daily high average is -7. It's been like -15 or 15 below average, you know, pretty far below average. But none of that really, I mean, it's the weather, you know? So it just like, it's not, we don't live in it. If we lived in like, you know, where the redwoods grow, where it's super temperate, or in Chia, where John Saldana lives, then it would be alarming if it all of a sudden had big swings, you know. But we don't live in a temperate place because it's those coastal areas that a lot of time can get, or the mountainous areas that get that temperate nature. Here, when we're inland like this, super far inland, 1,000 miles, it can just be, you know, anything. It can be anything at any time. So, what's up, Angela Calloway? Good to see you. Yes, okay. Thank you, Donald Hughes. Donald, so how is the tomatoes this year? Guys, I got some stuff I want to show you. We won't do it right this moment, but I got some things I want to show you. So we will do these. And guys, this was just an amazing experimentation. I mean, we had so many. And this beauty right here is the Viking tomato. Super beautiful tomato. Yes. This here is actually another of the Viking tomatoes. And I will go over the pros and cons of them here. This is the black Krim tomato. All right. Nice and beautiful. And then this is the famous watermelon beefsteak. Yes, the watermelon beefsteak. So we will go over those here shortly. It's kind of dark in here. Let me see if I can get a little bit of the light in here. Yeah. So yes, guys, Shawnee grows and silver sage. Yeah, you're gonna like it. We're gonna cut into them here before too long. So whoever it was, the guy that has the issue with slurping might need to tune out, but we'll let you guys know before we taste test these. I want to slice them open and analyze them while we're here, because these, I mean, growing the right tomato is super important, actually, because tomatoes can either be really delicious or just okay, yeah, it's nice, oh, it's a good tomato, or it can be like, whoa, what is that, and how can I get more? That's what I want out of a tomato. Yeah. Oh, Argyle, I forgot all about the Senator Joseph McCarthy. That's right. Oh man, he had a huge problem with a bunch of stuff we were doing. I forget. Senator Joseph McCarthy. Yeah. Are you still here, Senator? So Dorothy says the first tomato you showed looks just like Castoluto. I planted 3 of those this summer. Very prolific. Great for sauce. Nice. No, this one is a special. This one is Viking, and it's out of all of these, it definitely is the best. Now, okay, I'm going to be straightforward. The reason that we're calling it Viking is because we planted all these. We have a tomato patch where we planted, and we have all of them labeled except for like these 3 plants that we thought we'll just remember exactly what those are. We have no clue what this one is. No clue, none whatsoever. And this old man that we got some stuff from, I think I've told you about, we got the peppers from and stuff. He just kept giving us stuff. I mean, he had a seed sale at his house. They've been doing it. You go there, and it was in the springtime. It was like plant sale, and so you go there, and he's got this tiny little, or like this walking greenhouse in his backyard, and right up in a residential area. And his garage is packed full of plants. That little greenhouse is packed full of plants, and his wife, they're both in their late 80s, early 90s, and they've been doing it for since 1960s, 9 there and stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, here. And so they're selling them, but it's more about it's just more about they just like talking to people and doing that service. They had a bunch of plants, and so everything I looked at, he was like, oh, you want one? Just go ahead, take that. Just go ahead and take it. Oh yeah, that's on me. Just go ahead and take it. And then before I knew it, we had this whole huge flat of peppers. It was me and Camille, and we were talking with them and stuff, and it was a great experience. And we had this whole huge flat of peppers and tomatoes and all these different kind of varieties of stuff. And he's telling me this and that about that. And I remembered what I could, but I mean, he's been doing it for, like 70 years. He's been doing it. And so I just listened, I wasn't talking much. And so he gave me all these different kind of tomatoes and stuff. And some of them, I planted them around, some of them died because, the starts weren't the healthiest because he was using like actual soil, like dirt, like topsoil, in his little things. I was like, whoa. And so, but it's old school. I think it's like he shoveled it out of his yard or something. But so they weren't like the healthiest, but most of them survived, This one though is, we have no clue what it is. And so far, it's my favorite of all. It's my favorite because one, it's beautiful, but I mean, this tomato, the black creme is gorgeous as well. You know, super beautiful. And so is the watermelon beefsteak. It stays, the plant, we had two of these plants that are apparently the same thing, and they are just loaded with these. Wait until you see in the course, you will see this whole setup, how we grew it, how we use the Viking growing system, and you'll see how we grew all these tomatoes. And they're the healthiest tomato plants you could ever ask for, and just loaded with these. I mean, the one tomato plant has probably had 30 of these. It was just unreal. We had these whole piles of them, and they stay the longest. They stay the longest. So the black crims, man, we were lucky to get a few of them that were not split. I mean, split, 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 mushy, soft, split, so fast. The black crims, and the watermelon beefsteaks as well. Super bunch of them were split, real bad split. I mean, the first like 10 off the plant, or not 10, but 5 maybe, were just, I had to pull out, just soggy split. And it doesn't produce very much. Like, we only had 4 or 5 of these, where we had like literally 30 of these, you know, and they're all grown. They all have the exact same stuff, the same Viking growing system. And then another reason that this is my favorite is because it stays the longest off the vine. These are like the few survivors left of, because we picked them like 4 or 5 days ago out at the Viking North plot. And these are still wonderful, firm, super delicious. So we're probably going to slice into a few of these here in a moment, in a little bit, and describe to you guys the difference, yeah? And show you the texture. Very important, yeah? So, yes. Yes, Dusty Flats. This is the only way to grow it. I'm telling you, it's the only way to grow it. I've done all the different methods over the years, and a variation, I mean, using the fabric mulch or the plastic, if you do it right, is the way to go. There's just no doubt. Um, yes, that is a good idea, and something we actually thought of. Yes, we should go to him and ask him what this is. He'll know what it is, probably. I'm sure he will. So they don't all look exactly like that. I mean, this is from the same plant, you know, but you can tell it's looking pretty similar. Still nice and firm, just really good, man. Joe Slack, no, these are not brandy wines, although we do have the brandy wine. And I would say that the brandy wine is a close second with the watermelon beefsteak. But actually, the brandy wine is in a category of its own, because it is so classic tomato flavor. I don't know how else to describe it more accurately than to say that it is just the most tomatoey flavored classic tomato flavor you could ever imagine. I mean, we've had it with so many things over the summer. And when you have like a juicy burger, yeah, the medium rare or rare medium rare juicy burger, charred over the charcoal, the flame, and then we'll have some homemade garlic mayo, and then a slice of that brandy wine tomato, and put it all together, eat it like that. You know, we have burgers without buns, of course. We just don't like the bread. I'm not really into bread. So we'll eat it like that, and wow, man, super delicious. Just the whole flavor is like a classic, you know, back in my younger years when I used to eat fast food, you know, like a Rally's burger or something, or like one of the fast food burgers, you know, like classic. It reminds you of the similar things, except 1,000 times better, obviously. And it just, all these memories are associated with the brandy wine because of how distinctly classic tomato flavor it is. Yeah, it's like the classical music of tomatoes. Yeah, you could say it like that. Um, whereas these are more like the Viking and the watermelon beefsteak are more like the, I don't know how else to describe it, but more like the modern, I don't know, no, classic. This could be like the classic country from the 60s and 70s. George Jones, that kind of classic. Um, Merle Haggard. I mean, all the good old schoolers. That could be that kind. Yeah. Whereas the brandy wine is the classical music. We'll say it like that. And then the other ones are like, newer things, inventions. To be honest, with the black creme, if you and I've already tasted all these, so I'm not even going to pretend like it's my first time tasting them. But it's the black creme. If you told me that the plant that this was a Cherokee purple, I would 100% believe you. Not be able to tell in any way whatsoever that the plant looks just like a Cherokee purple. The tomato looks just like Cherokee purples, a little bit darker, and the flavor is pretty much indistinguishable from a Cherokee. So uh, for me, I probably won't grow these again, just because of one, we already got Cherokees, and two, the plant that they just split so fast. And it was awesome this year having a side by side of all these different tomato varieties. Each one was grown in a concrete reinforcement mesh cage, like you saw me make this spring in the video, which I've now took down. Yes, because and the so each one was grown in that, and each one nice and big and vigorous, and so we could really distinctly tell the difference, and they all had the exact same root conditions and all that. And so the black creme, good, definitely good, but no better than the Cherokee, and a weaker plant, or just a weaker split so easy, you know so yeah, we will continue talking about that a little bit. Let's see here. Grow All Year says, did green manure last year? Worked great. Did fabric this year under cucumbers, peppers, and tomatoes. Should I pull up fabric to do again this fall, or only plant in the holes? Well, that's the question, and that is exactly what we go over in the Viking growing system course, with really in depth, of course. But for the brief answer here would be that you can do it one of two ways. Now, you can just leave the fabric down and plant again into the holes, but I am finding and have found that it is vastly superior to pull it up, plant the cover crop, green manure it. There's just no other way about it. That is the way to do it. Put the fabric down in the springtime. That also makes it so that your fabric will last twice as long. Your fabric lasts a lot longer because it's only been exposed for half the year, to the sun. So definitely, unless you plan on using some kind of granular, which we also go over in depth in the course. I'll show you guys how to make your own Viking granular, sort of. I mean, it's really good, but um, so if you're going to use the granular, then you don't have to do the cover crop, of course. Yeah. So, oh yeah, AK Froggy says, pink bumblebee is really special. First time planting it, and it will become a staple. Small but amazing. Yes. See, I've never had the pink bumblebee, but I had the purple bumblebee, which is a staple. We grew another one of them. Definitely an amazing flavor. Really good for dehydrated tomatoes. Definitely. One second. Thank you. And and then we had the sunrise bumblebee. We had one it's all from a company, from a breeder, Artisan Seeds, I believe is the breeder of that. And they have a whole, purple bumblebee, pink bumblebee, and then there's a sunrise bumblebee, which we tried last year. And it was underwhelming. It was okay, but sort of underwhelming. Although we did not have good success with the tomatoes last year because a bunch of things happened, and we didn't get. We just had a bad year for tomatoes. But this year we have absolutely crushed it with tomatoes, guys. Absolutely was crushing it. Gary Smith, $30. Thank you very much, my friend. I hope you're having a wonderful season. Definitely. And I don't see a question here with it. Just a good contribution. Thank you. And hopefully your sweet potatoes are still growing because the sweet potatoes take a long time and you can let them go long. Let them go at least till the middle of September, unless you have the possibility of vole or mice getting into them, because that's what they do. It's really terrible. The voles will go in and just scratch and eat just a few bites out of each one and move on to the next one. They don't sit there and finish the whole thing. They just scratch and destroy this one, then go scratch and destroy this one. Like it's their purpose to just destroy them. You know, that's because that's exactly what they do. So you have to see if you've got vole or mice problems, you have to make that call between the size of the sweet potato increasing or the ruining of the harvest. So that is Teets, $2. Thanks for the live. Yes, thank you, my friend. I appreciate the contribution. Definitely hope that you got a good season going on over there in San Fran. Let's see here. Yes, yes. I feel it's very accurate, right? Is it is the classical music, you know, like from which all other music sort of stemmed from, you know, that kind of thing. Like it's that kind of tomato, definitely. Yeah. Whereas these are fruity. These are really fruity. You know, I see why the watermelon beefsteak. Now, if they didn't say watermelon in the name and that predictive programming or that preemptive programming, that suggestive programming, I might not feel this way, but it looks and has notes of watermelon. It does, you know. So now, if they called it something else, you know, like a cherry beefsteak or a cherry jam beefsteak tomato, maybe I would be like, you know, guys, there's notes of cherry in it. I mean, really, I taste cherry, you know? So that's how it works. You know, that's how the human mind is very easily suggestible like that. But all I can say is that they taste so like fruity, like their own thing. You know, not neither of these taste like classic tomatoes. I mean, in fact, if I didn't know and you like set me up in a blind taste test and you told me this was some kind of rare fruit from the Amazon that I've never tasted before, and tell me what I think, I'd be like, kind of tastes like a tomato maybe, but really fruity and good. Yeah, kind of reminds me of a tomato almost. You know, I would describe it in that way. Oh, definitely green manure. Definitely green manure. Yeah, Dusty, that happens. So think we had too many pop-up storms this year, as I haven't really liked the flavor of tomatoes this year. Need dry time. Yeah, that can happen. That can definitely happen with the watermelons, which is what I am attributing the lack of flavor in the Leelanau watermelons. Those were supposed to be amazing, you know, golden flesh watermelons from Baker Creek Seed. They won taste tests all over here and there, and they're the favorite orange variety. It's unanimous. And so I was like, oh man, so happy. Cut into that thing. We started tasting it. I was like, Uh, yeah, okay. Well, definitely tastes like watermelon. I mean, it tastes like water. And it doesn't really remind you, it doesn't taste like watermelon either. Very, very underwhelming, very disappointing. Um, as far as the hopes and dreams of that being a fantastic orange flesh watermelon. It's just not. But I attribute that to we had lots of rain this year, more than most other years, definitely. So that could be why it was super watery. We also didn't get a chance to do the soil as much as we would have liked to, as much as we will be doing next year. So that being said, the Alibabas are still amazing, as you saw me eat last week. Yeah, I was going to do another one, but nah. Yes. So, yes. Silver Sage says the mind is very suggestive. Do any of y'all do a garden vision board or garden visualizations, or am I the only one who meditates on a beautiful garden? Yeah, it's fantastic. You know, you're not the only one that does that. But the really, your external environment is a reflection of the internal environment. And so you can see the internal landscape of a person's mind by looking generally at the external environment that they tend to cultivate. There's a very strong correlation to this. So you can see in a super messy, chaotic kind of place, their mind is sort of like that. Sort of, all over and sort of, got a lot of things going on, a lot of different pathways, a lot of different things that they're thinking of, and choo, 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 quick, fast mind and stuff. And then you can see in some areas that people with a really calm mind and their environment tends to reflect that. And no more so than in the garden. It's just a beautiful reflection of the mind. So definitely a wonderful practice, and every day during the summer, basically all winter, pretty much every day when I come down, I look outside and when I look at the garden in the winter time, I can see this garden now just bursting with flowers and life, birds all over the place. I mean, this is such a gorgeous garden. I just can't even get over it. And so everything is, and it has been in the years past, but now that everything was defined, really defined, in the beds, and I made the distinction in the beds is only the food crops. Outside of the beds is where all the flowers go. And wow. And just now that using the Viking growing system, there's no weeds. And so everything you see there is purposely put there. It's not like a bunch of stuff that where you're like trying to see, where the intentional plants are and where's just the weeds overtaking everything. No, none of that. Now it is like super it's just great. So yeah, all of that comes from visualizing it. Definitely. Yeah. Dusty, you've got a sauna too? Yes, so do we. It's almost sauna weather coming. Yes, big will dogs. Same thing is happening with mine. The the strawberries, the Albion strawberry is some of them are super sweet and delicious and just amazingly concentrated strawberry flavor. Really good. But then some of them are very much so watered down. I mean, tastes like just straight water. I would say probably 10 to 15% of them taste that way, But the strawberry towers have been doing pretty good now that it cooled off a little bit, because when it was in the full on summer, they were just baking in the heat. But they are fully covered now. I mean, they are just covered. You hardly see the tower at all. And they're producing enough to have 2 or 3 or 5 good ripe strawberries every day. To just go out there and pick 2 or 3 or 4 good ripe strawberries pretty much every day. So that's nice. And it's consistent. It's not like you have to get them all at once. So it's just been doing that for quite some time now. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It still is too hot to be growing. The other stuff just doesn't like to grow in there because of how hot it is right now. What's up, Taylor Reindl? Good to see you, my friend. Yes, good to hear. I was wondering about that. The garden huckleberries. They're strange, says Look to Nature, like a blueberry combined with tomato. That's kind of what I was afraid of, that they were kind of going to be like another, at the first year I didn't really care for the ground cherries that much because they tasted too much like watered down tomatoes or something to me. But the second year they started tasting, I don't know if my taste changed or if the actual plant itself, changed, but they became really delicious. And then now we've been growing them for several years. And this year, as you all know, was absolutely out of control, absurd with how many ground cherries we had. Just 5-gallon buckets. And we just had to throw away hundreds and hundreds. Well, compost. Although I need to actually take it out of the compost and put it somewhere else because there's like 50,000 seeds. They're all going to be coming up next year in that compost. I know there will be. So. Yes. Yes, definitely. Gonna have to try these tomatoes. You're gonna be tapping the brain at year's end to find next year's crops. Yeah, I can. We will find out what this is. We will find out what this is because you have to. This would by far be my number one recommendation. Um, well, actually, I can't say that. I would say Brandywine also, as far as, but they're so distinctly different. You can't really compare the two exactly. So I would say equal, but if I only had to grow one, um, it'd probably be the Brandywine because it could be a sauce tomato, definitely, and it could be a slicer, and it's super delicious. But this would be very close second just because of it's so good with all the grilled stuff in the summertime. That's what we've been doing, and it's just the way to go, guys. Yes. Now, here is one thing that we've been doing. And for this, the Romas, guys, I know it doesn't seem like it because the Romas are like a paste tomato. So, Romas, a lot of people would be like, I don't really like Romas. It's probably because they tried eating them fresh. And they're not bred for that. A paste tomato, like the paste tomato, Roma, is really bred to be sauced. It's bred to be reduced with heat. One second. um, so the heat sort of activates them. Now, the Romas, though, if you cut them and put them cut side up, and you only cut them in half lengthwise, then they reduce in their own, and you dehydrate them, they reduce in their own juices. That's why I don't get nearly the same results trying to dehydrate something like this, because when you slice it and it's open on the bottom, all the juice is like drip, 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 it drips off. And it doesn't allow it to really concentrate the flavors. Hang on one second. Let me grab my trusty device real quick because this is not going to work while we're talking. Everyone got these flies flying around. So we are going to grab our wand here and we are going to just wait for this thing and we're going to whack it right here. Oh, one second, guys. Got to take care of business. Maybe. We'll see. Anyways, if you guys haven't used these, you should. Listen. Yes. So the it's somewhere. So that's why we don't like to use these. So the purple bumblebees make a fantastic dried tomato for that reason. Also, the Romas do. They make a really good, tasty, classic tomato taste. Also, we found this year the super sweet 100s make something that is almost like candy. I mean, almost like candy. It is, you can hardly even, if you didn't tell me that it was a tomato, I would basically just think it was like a fruit roll up or some kind of candy. So this is the super sweet. We got a batch of super sweets, you know, a couple batches. This is Tegan's handiwork. She made sure that they were perfectly spaced. But they, man, when they get like this and they're really nice, and you see how you put them cut side up, so they make like a little bowl where the sweet juice just concentrates. It's literally, I mean, I would think it was a part of a dried mango or something. I mean, some kind of dried fruit roll up, something. But so we will take them like this, all right? And then we will make sun-dried tomatoes. So let me show you guys, because these things are absurd. I mean, absurd this year. So sun-dried tomatoes, most of them in the store, if you get sun-dried tomatoes and you're used to those, most of them are either Romas or San Marzano. And so by using one of those, you will get the most classic flavor of what you're used to with sun-dried tomatoes. Purple bumblebees produce a good sun-dried tomato, but it's different. It's not like what you would be used to from the store. So a lot of people, they'll try it and they'll be like, yeah, it's okay. Because it's not ringing that bell of classic sun-dried tomato that their mind is accustomed to. You know, so if you want that, you want to use the Romas, really. So we dehydrate them in that way. And then we take, once they're, you don't have to dehydrate them all the way till they're like crispy dry, like you would if you're making the dehydrated paste from my video. But you can wait till they're a little bit leathery. So we'll take the Romas and then we will dunk them and massage them just a little bit for about maybe 10 seconds in red wine vinegar. Red wine vinegar, take them out, let them dry, all right? And then take from there and put them into the jar and put a little bit in there and use a kraut tamper, a sauerkraut tamper, pack them down there. Then sprinkle some oregano and just a pinch of salt. And then do another layer where you just put a bunch of Romas in there and then pack it all down, you know? And then a little bit of oregano, dried oregano like this. Yes, oregano from this year. This stuff is amazing, super delicious. You always want to get it before it goes to seed, before it fully flowers, because then it will have the highest concentration of oils. So take it and then you just do layers of that, of a little bit of oregano, a little bit of sea salt, and then fill it again with aromas and pack it down again with the kraut tamper. But you got to really put your body into it. Pack it down in there. Once you got all the layers and you're about an inch from the top, cover it with olive oil, a good quality olive oil. Okay, that makes or breaks the experience. And then put them in the fridge for like a week and see how they're soft and supple. And they are just like, can you see how outstanding these things are? We're going to have these on the pizza tonight. We're going to my brother's. We're making homemade pizza with homemade sauce that because we got a big project that we're doing there. And so we're making the homemade sauce. We're trying a different recipe. And we're going to put this stuff on there. We're also going to put the basil on there. We're going to do several things with it. But these are going to go on the pizza for sure. There's no doubt about that. So Looking forward to that, guys, and very delicious. And these will stay all winter long. I mean, these will stay good basically indefinitely. I mean, I've had these last like 2 years and them still be good. But that's only because they were forgotten in the back. Because if I see them, I'll be eating them. So if you keep them up front, you'll be eating them. Super delicious. Well, that is a very subjective thing. So the oregano that I find the best is just an oregano that I was saving for many years. I don't really. It could be an Israeli oregano. There's Israeli and Greek typically, but it all depends on how you make it. You know, it all depends on how you make it and what you use it with. So yes, Dusty says, I tried so many varieties of cherry tomatoes, I forgot about the super sweet 100s. They are the best. They really are. But they don't, they crack easily. Here's the downsides though. They crack very easily, and once they're ripe, that's it. I mean, they do not last long on the vine, as opposed to like the purple bumblebee, where did you guys see that? Where it will, dang, uh, where it will just sit for. It can be on the vine for weeks. I mean, and then you can cut it and bring it inside. Ooh, now it's messing with me. So where you okay? It will. You can cut those purple bumblebees off the plant, bring them inside, and it will stay for several weeks. The super sweet 100s, we picked those and brought them home, and then let them sit for 24 hours in the basement because we had to process, 24 hours later, and half of them were soft and mushy already. So it was like, so this last batch that you see here, we picked them from the Viking North plot, brought them back, and that day cut them and dehydrated them. And that way we didn't lose any. But we waited just 24 hours and we lost like half of them, which was ridiculous. So another one that I want to show you guys though. So here's what you can do. All right, these are the super sweets. Okay, these are the just super sweet 100s, and we have taken them and we did the same technique, but except that we used very very thinly sliced garlic and a little bit of oregano, and then salt. But the garlic has added a whole different element. Also, it being the super sweet 100s. So I will oblige, of course. You see here? Smaller, definitely. The garlic changes the game. I mean, it tastes like a pizza. It really does. Hmm. Wow. We'll definitely be making more of those. Garlic, I feel like we might have put black pepper in this one. It tastes like it, but that's not what the label says. Guys, if you like to label your stuff, which you should because you will not remember. I say that all the time, and yet every year I think I'll remember on various ways, and I never do, of course, because you just have too many things going on. And then at the time you remember I'll remember because those look so different. But then 6 weeks goes by and your whole life, I mean, it's like a whole different life already. 6 weeks later, and you're like, what was that? I don't. You've already seen 1,000 other tomatoes, and you've already packaged up and canned five dozen other tomato products and stuff, and so no, you're not going to remember that was, oh, those are the ones with the garlic in it. You'd be like, what did those have special in it? No, it just doesn't work. So these labels here are, they wash off, which I know sounds like a figure of speech, and I thought that it was too. uh I thought that it was a figure of speech when it said on the Amazon, advertisement that these labels wash off with water, and it showed a person running it underwater and scrubbing it, and it just disappeared. And I was like, what kind of AI garbage is this? There's no way that that's true. So I bought some dissolvable canning jar or canning labels. And lo and behold, guys, it is 100% true. You just run this thing underwater and you don't even have to scrub it off. It just dissolves. Just put it under running water, and there's no film on it afterwards. There's no nothing. It just totally dissolves. I was mind blown. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is unbelievable. As opposed, and we did that because we had got these labels previously, which are bigger and more beautiful. But for whatever reason, the adhesive that they use on these is permanent. I mean, it's just permanent. You have to scrape it off, and then you have to pull it off, and it just rips, and it's like it leaves a film. You got to use Goo Gone, or we use lemon essential oil. Works really good. But still, you have to like soak it in water. You have to do all this. I mean, it's a real nightmare to get these labels off. Like, made it no fun to just put a label on something real quick, because it's so much work to get that off, and doesn't make any sense. Whereas this, you literally just put it under running water and it rinses the label directly off. I mean, the whole thing's gone. Not just the words. The whole thing is gone. It's like it was never there. So we thought I think that's pretty amazing. Now the downside though is that if you spill one drop of something on that, it starts to dissolve. So, or if you touch it with your wet fingers, then it's going to start to turn to mush, of course. But yeah. Oh, Argo Bargo, that's a great question. I'll be right back. So the Maduras, this is a wonderful melon, and it is one of the best melons we've ever eaten. It is a melon that is like, maybe I should eat it right now. Hang on, let me get a spoon. I know that you guys are going to be real happy about that, but let me just do it. Because this thing is pretty much nearing its end. Now, watermelons, we have come to find, do not ripen off the vine, not one bit. The moment you cut them, the sugars stop producing and they begin degrading. So you have to tell exactly when the watermelon is ripe, because once you cut it, that's it. It doesn't get more ripe. It just starts to rot and become mealy, and its sugars actually degrade. But the Maduras is a little bit different. It will ripen still off the vine. Not a ton like tomatoes will. Tomatoes, if they're even the slightest shade of red and you pick it, it will ripen to this, no problem. Watermelons don't at all, but Maduras kind of can. But what we found is that, so there's different layers of ripeness, and the more ripe, the better. And so when it's growing, it's going to be green, and you're going to see the stripes. Yeah, it's going to be green. You're going to see the stripes. And then as it gets ripe, it's going to turn to a lighter kind of yellowish white. And then when it's ripe, it's going to turn like a white. And then when it's truly ripe, it will fall off the vine. That's the thing. It will rot itself off the vine. And so it will fall off the vine. Now, if it's growing on the ground, like many of ours did this year, then, guys, I know it just when it starts to rot, I know, but it's just started to rot. This might be a little bit past, but it's going to be delicious. I guarantee it. Look at this thing. So, we picked this like 5 days ago. And so it was already very ripe, but, we're going to go ahead and cut into this right now, just because I want to prove to you guys, or I just want to see what we can do. Okay, so let's see here. We are going to cut into this. Now watch, it's just going to show a bunch of stuff all over the place. Let's see here. Let us cut into it like this. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Like butter. Okay. Oh my goodness. Guys, look at that. Oh, look at it just dripping honey. It is dripping honey from this thing. You cannot, this is not an exaggeration, all right? I'm not exaggerating here. This stuff is the bomb. So here's how you eat these. You have to just scoop out real easy the inside. Yep, the inside, the seeds, okay? We're just gonna scoop them out. See, it just falls out. And what you're left with, I don't know if you can see that, but look at how this honey, and now I'm just gonna take this spoon like this, okay? And then, ooh, look at the dripping with honey, guys. It's called maduras, meaning honey melon. And this thing lives up to its name. Okay, ready? It literally tastes like pure honey, guys. You can't, there's nothing like this. There's nothing else. I know it looks rotten. Look, it's not rotten. It is not rotten. You can chew it with your tongue. You just, the flavor is so intense. It doesn't even taste like it's real. It tastes artificial. It's just a, man. Now, this was not in the refrigerator. It would be, I like things to be a little bit chilled, definitely. It just instantly turns into to honey water in your mouth. And then look at all of this in here. You see that? Wow. See, we've been enjoying melons every day for like a month now, basically. So Maduras, the Alibabas, the several different kinds of the watermelons. We're having it every day with the dinners. And it's very important that, I mean, the watermelons are full of citrulline and L-arginine, really good things, precursors to nitric oxide in the body, which dilates the blood vessels, gets the blood pumping, gets the brain functioning, keeps, everything is about blood flow. The older that you get, everything is about blood flow. And so you want to make sure that you've got your optimized vascular system. And the nutrients and compounds found in the watermelon help to optimize the vascular system, definitely. I mean, I can't even imagine. If we dehydrated this, it would be straight up candy. Candy. But I wouldn't want to, if you guys can see the like the sugar water, the honey, it's like honey inside. You see, it's like a well of honey now, and I just scoop in there, and it's just, it literally tastes like pure, like wild bee honey. Wow. So for only $19.99, I've got stock in Maduras melons. No, I just want to show to you guys how outstanding it really is. And so let's see here. Let's see. Yes, Big West, it's true. You can chew it with your tongue. I mean, that's how it is. You just mush it. It's amazing. Lisa T says, FYI, the doctors in my functional medicine class say that the biggest food mold exposure is melons from mold on the skin. They say wash very well and don't let them grow directly on soil. Well, a couple of things. One is that the Viking growing system does not let anything touch the soil, actually. So that definitely helps. They are not touching the soil. But two, I don't know who is really saying that. I mean, I'm sure that that person did say that, and they probably have their reasons. But personally, that's not been my experience. So if you have, that's not even been the slightest concern of mine whatsoever. None of the melons even showed any kind of mold on them. This one obviously has mold on it, but we're just not really that concerned about it, actually, because if you have a very thriving immune system and stuff, then you'll be pretty much fine, with that. So I'm not that concerned about that, although that's good to know, though. Thank you for bringing that to light. Yes. Yes, exactly. RK. That's the key to everything. Yes. Yes, exactly. Lisa T. The with melons, trellis, grow on fabric, or a mulch. Yeah, we only grow the melons on the fabric because if you don't, man, you're going to be battling weeds. It is tough. It is tough. And with the fabric, if the Viking growing system stuff, then man, they never touch the ground. The roots obviously do, but yes, definitely. Yeah, it's literally as good as it looks. Yeah. Yep. What's up, Pop Pern? Good to see you here, my friend. Um, yes, you got one on the vine. What? You've got one on the vine. You've got a Maduras. So they're a sort of shy producer. The Maduras is a little bit shy of a producer, but well worth it. So next year we're going to probably grow them where we grew some of the Romas this year. We're going to use that trellis system, and we're going to let them grow on that. Guys, look how it's just pooling up. It's just pooling up, thick. It like defies comprehension. How is it even real? How is that even a real fruit? It tastes exactly how it looks. If you guys are like real hot, if it's like hot outside and you come in and pull one of these out of the refrigerator, whoa, you're going to just be super refreshed. Okay, I got to stop. Um, Madhu, Madhu, space RAS, Maduras. It is from Rajasthan, which is a state in India in the Great Thar Desert, which I've spent much time in Rajasthan. I drove a Royal Enfield 500 Machismo through Rajasthan, through Pushkar, all the way out to Jaisalmer, and then drove it clear to the border of Pakistan in Amritsar, where we did the border closing ceremony with Pakistan and India. It was really cool. So Rajasthan holds a very special place in my heart, and just the name alone would have done it for me. Let's just see here. Oh, Nancy Dewell, $10. Thank you, my friend. Says for the lovely weather. Nice. Yes, lovely weather. And Edward Lyles, $15 for donation. Thank you very much, Edward. I don't recognize that name from previously, so welcome. Welcome. And don't be afraid to put a question. If you have a burning question, don't be afraid to put that with the donation. I appreciate you guys supporting the cause. Definitely. And, my apologies for not making content this year. But as you all know, we've been working on other things. And so the Viking growing system is underway, but we are almost fully done with the Viking cleanse course. So there is a link in the description if you guys want to check out the Viking cleanse. It's not gardening related, but it is overall thriving health and wellness related. We've been doing this cleanse, the Viking cleanse, for 20 years now. And so we finally have made a course on it. We've did so many consultations with people and so much, working with people over the years that I just decided to make a course on it. And so you can get it. The pre-sale is still running until September 17th, when the price will more than double. But right now it's only $98. And that gets you lifetime access to the Viking cleanse. And guys, in the Viking cleanse, oh, I'm so excited because as we're making it, it's been transforming a little bit. And so just yesterday, I fully recorded a guided meditation. Oh my gosh, in the new studio with the new sound system and with some gentle music. Wow. Oh man. So super cool. It just came to me. It was like, you know what? They need a guided transformative meditation. And so we do that. And it's really nice. There's that. There's also my gut healing bone broth recipe, which is the finest, one of the most amazing gut healing, skin plumping, health inducing substances that you can get. And I show you exactly step by step in module 6 of the Viking Cleanse how to make that miraculous elixir. I also show you guys how to make, and I've never shown this to on any of the channels, how to make the Viking grain, sprouted grain elixir. It's a probiotic drink to repopulate the gut after the cleanse. That is also in module 6 of the Viking Cleanse. So all kinds of good stuff in there. We're going to be doing all kinds of courses in the future, as many of you know. That is what we're not really doing YouTube. I'm not feeling YouTube anymore. And so we are doing the course thing. And so all the practices and all the things we talked about on the Thrive, the Nate Murray channel, we will be doing courses into each one of those things. The very next course that will be coming out will be in January, will be the Viking growing system. And in that course is going to be tailored to you guys and what I know everybody needs to see. And we're going to do a deep dive into granular fertilizers. I've not touched on granular fertilizers on this channel for a very specific reason. Because to utilize it properly, you need to know what you're talking about. You need to, because you can, granular fertilizers are very concentrated and you can throw stuff out of whack. So in that course, I go in depth and I show you guys how you can essentially make your own budget granular Viking granular fertilizer. Yeah. And then I show you a super budget option. And then I show you the full-on Viking growing system. So lots of good stuff in there that you will get as well. So that's how we're going to do it from here out. And we are going to, so in particular, the community. So we are building the community in those courses. So like, for example, those of you that have signed up for the Viking growing system or the Viking cleanse course, it's all Viking ecosystem. For the Viking cleanse course, you've had access to the community. So the community, obviously small at first, but it will grow. And it's where we can share. It's like a Facebook group, basically, but it's not Facebook. It's my own platform, which is fantastic. So we've got total freedom here. So it's not any of the social media platforms. It's something else entirely, an independent thing. And so we can go to those, and the Viking growing system, the gardening, will also have a community as well. And you can share pictures. It's like a Discord chat. It's like a Facebook community. There will be likes and stuff like that. And that's where a lot of good knowledge is going to be shared, definitely, in those communities. And so really take advantage of that. If you're in the Viking Cleanse course or if you're taking the Viking growing system, take advantage of the community. And I have had to learn that you have to focus your energies. Yeah, I always use this analogy when I talk to people. Is imagine if you had a pile of gunpowder and you just put it on you just laid it out on the ground like that, and you lit it. A big shoo, all that energy goes up in flames, but nothing really happens. It just poof right out to the atmosphere. But if you take that same amount of gunpowder and you focus it through the barrel of like a cannon, now, boom, you can do something with that. So I've had to learn how to focus my energies like that. So having all these different social medias and different emails and all these different ways people contacting me and stuff, I spread too thin and I was losing track of everything and just burnt out. And so what I realized is that I need to focus on a particular ones. And the private community is where I'm focusing all of my efforts. And so that's where I will answer all the questions and stuff. I don't answer questions on the YouTube videos and comments anymore. And I just can't, all that stuff, and Instagram and all that. So instead, it's all in the private communities. That's where I have to focus my efforts. And so that is what we're doing from here forward. So if you guys haven't got responses and stuff like that, that's why. I've had to learn how to harness and focus my efforts, but without just spreading too thin and getting burnt out and not being able to accomplish things, all this energy and stuff in social media and YouTube. And now what? All the money's gone in the social media, So now what are you left with? A killer audience. That's a killer community, a group, a tribe, definitely very beneficial. But as far as business, meaning money, meaning how are we going to finance the land and the goals that we have in the future, the YouTube and social media is not it. So we are doing it through the courses now, and this is the way. So that's how we're doing it. Really happy to have you guys along, have you guys here. Appreciate this. $5. Thank you very much, Ryan. Thank you. Says, should we go light on the mulch for cool weather crops so the soil can heat up more in the fall weather? Any other tips for a thriving fall garden? Gets cool here in Western New York. Good thought process. Thank you for the donation, my friend. Good thought process, okay? But we use that mostly for the spring. So deep mulch or mulch will insulate the soil, and so it will maintain what it is already from the outside conditions. So in the springtime, if we have thick mulch on the soil, as I've shown you guys many times in my videos, it insulates the heat from coming into the soil. So the soil will actually stay cool weeks longer than it would otherwise. And I've actually done videos and have video footage of where, like, the garlic patch, because we cover that thing in a lot of straw. The garlic patch, it's like 85 degrees out, and the soil's 80 or 75, 80 degrees over here in this with the Viking growing the black fabric, and then I'll come over to the deep straw mulch, and the soil is literally still frozen. I peel back the mulch, and the interface between the soil and the straw is literally frozen, ice, still, weeks into like June even. And so it can stay so much more insulated. That is why we like to, in the springtime, rake it off, let that soil warm up. You want to be doing that. In the fall time, though, the opposite is true. Go ahead and keep that nice and insulated, because the soil's warm. The earth is warm right now. Everything is warm. And so you can, if you want to keep it into the fall time, it's best to have a good thick layer of mulch. Yes, within reason, of course. Don't make it ridiculous, but the mulch will definitely help. Now, if you wanted to, another way to do it is to use the black fabric like we do here, and where it's very thin and it will attract the sun. It will heat up big time, but it doesn't insulate over the night. The soil can cool off quickly. So if you're concerned about that, then mulch with organic material. But the thing is, if you're growing fall crops like cabbages, collard greens, bok choy, spinach, cilantro, beets, all that stuff can tolerate cold soil, no problem. It's not like the springtime. So all that stuff can tolerate cold soil, so you don't really need to. I'm not doing any thick mulch for that reason. I have the fabric, and it's perfectly fine, plenty, because I'm not trying to grow cucumbers and tomatoes and peppers into the fall. They'll grow, they'll keep growing, definitely, but they're nearing their end. And so the fall crops, though, are all specifically chosen to thrive even with cool soil, so long as you got drainage. They can be cool or even cold, but they can't be cold and wet and soggy. They can't be soggy and cold. That will be a disaster. But if you've got good drainage and stuff and the soil can breathe, they can take cold, no problem. Yeah. So yes, PA Perm, thumbs up the live stream, guys. Thumbs up the chat. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much, Lisa, for your continued support. I appreciate you. Looking forward to the upcoming courses. Till then, appreciate your YouTube library of wisdom. Yes. So that is a great thing, that there's still lots of stuff. And I mean, if you guys have watched every video on this channel, then you already have all the knowledge you would need to be a master grower, really. The rest is just doing it and experiencing. But the courses, we organize it all for you. I mean, how many of you guys learn stuff on YouTube? But it's gotten to the point where everyone is all the creators are incentivized just to keep you watching longer. That's all. That's the only incentive. So when you become a professional content creator, you're incentivized not to give the full picture. not to give out all the knowledge, because then you'll stop watching. And you're also incentivized not to make a video brief and to the point. A little bit, you got to find that, if you make it too brief and to the point, then they just get what they need and they leave. And then you don't get paid. So it's like there's this whole thing now with all the creators. Well, okay, so guys, welcome to the video. Now watch to the end. If you watch to the end, please, I will give you another little nugget of information. Just watch to the end. I don't do all that. Okay, I'm just totally over that, because that's not very conducive to learning. So how many of you have found that nowadays it's like you can watch 20 videos on a topic and still not really understand it, not really know, okay, well, what am I supposed to actually do? How do I actually do this thing? Because it's just in little fragmented, here and there, little bits here and there, conflicting systems. So the reason I've moved to courses is because it's so much more educational. Like if I need to know something, I take courses. I do little YouTube stuff, but mostly the course is laid out in a structure, in a sequence. Okay, here I'm taking you from this point, and here's all the things you need to know and understand in order to get to this point. So here's the transformational process. You will get there because it's all organized and cohesive. And it's not, you don't got to try and keep people's attention. Please keep watching with little cuts and pows and bangs. You can actually make it educational, where a pop-up graphic has bullet points, and things like that. You can make it educational. It's just different. It's so much more my style. And I tell you what, though, having this gardening season not be overshadowed by a nonstop hamster wheel of needing to make fresh content has been amazing. It's been so much more enjoyable for me as a grower to just grow. And I'm still shooting lots of content, but it's different. It's for the courses, so it's not like on a time crunch where it's, and it's for a purpose. It's not just like more content, gotta make a little YouTube and Instagram and all this stuff. It's just so chill. It's been wonderful. So that's my whole outlook on that. That's my whole reasoning. I feel like I need to give you guys that, and definitely. Yes, Silver Sage gets it. Ninja reflexes, Nate. Your focus is like a magnifying glass in the sun. Laser precision and efficacy. This is the life that is free from clutter that I'm working toward. Definitely. Yes, the mental clutter. Oh my goodness, guys. Oh my goodness. And to just put it all to the side and not be afraid to let many things just go by the wayside. They just have to. Other things just have to go by the wayside. You can't do everything all the time. And that's hard to come to terms with. But if you do, certain things suffer, other things suffer. So if you want to really do something amazing, it's like you got to give it 110%. That's what I personally, my philosophy, because of my life experience, has told me this and showed me this. So there's where we are. Alex Forgay, $5. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate the contribution. Says morning. Nah, it's not Nathan. It's Nathaniel. It is Nathaniel, my friend. Good morning, Nathaniel. Tribe, is it safe to store my sulfur in my garage, which gets hotter than the days, which could get into triple digits? That sounds terrible. I don't have experience with that, but I don't see why not. I mean, to make the sulfur, you have to literally bring it above the point of boiling. It has to be chemically heated. So unless your garage gets to 300 degrees, I don't think it's going to be a problem at all. I mean, I couldn't imagine it, because did you notice the heat that was created when you made the sulfur thing was just extraordinary. And if you're talking about elemental sulfur, then it's absolutely fine. You can't melt elemental sulfur by boiling it. So it doesn't, I mean, you can't like put it over a burner and melt it into water. It doesn't work that way. You have to chemically do it. So I don't see any problem with it. If anybody else has any experience that would say that there's a problem, look, it says, oops, Nate and Tribe. I mean, I need to proofread. Okay, good. Yes. Well, thank you. I don't see any reason why you couldn't. I've got it in my basement, which, don't store it in glass, because if that thing breaks and that sulfur, that JDOM sulfur, you're going to have to move. You're just going to have to move. And you won't be able to sell your house because it will reek of rotten eggs forever, probably, I would assume. So, let's see here. Lisa T says, "Hi, Camille. Love when we see you in the garden through the window. Looking contentive and productive." Yes, definitely. She is. Have you seen her? Is that? Oh, I don't know. She's supposed to be here. But yeah, we're going to do some stuff. My brother is he's going to get off work. He's an air traffic controller at the airport. He's going to get off, and then we're going to go to Costco. We're going to get a fridge. Costco has a convertible fridge freezer, so it can be either a freezer or a fridge. We are going to get one, put it downstairs for ferments. It is a ferment only fridge because our refrigerator is literally overflowing with stuff, and we haven't even begun the fermenting season. So the all the different ferments, all the kvass, stuff like that needs a refrigerator. So we're going to have a ferment only refrigerator there. We're going to have a ferment only refrigerator. And so that's going to be awesome. My brother also wants to get one. So we're going to get two of them and put one at his house. And then Camille is going to paint the baby room because my brother and his wife are going to, she's very, very pregnant. So there will be having a little Viking baby here in December. Yes. So Camille's offered to basically paint that room for them. So it's going to be a great time. Yes, I like that. Pepper Gardner says, "One thing I was thinking today, what am I willing to struggle for? Bring focus." Yes, definitely. What is worthwhile? And when we were doing the Thrive Lives on the Nate Murray channel, we used to talk about this all the time, the 80-20 rule. Guys, where 20% of your efforts produce 80% of the results. Yes, but you need to understand what those 20% of things are. And you need to focus on those instead of focusing on the other 80% of stuff that only brings you 20% of results. So many people you see floundering around with nonsensical details in their life and not really ever doing anything, not just getting hung up in the details. They got to make this, oh, well, this banner on their website's got to look exactly right, blah, blah, blah. Spend all this time when that's not actually important to launching your product. Or the garden, for example, it's like, oh, it's got to be super perfect in this exact way that I want it to be in my mind. And they get lost in the details whereas the exact shape and size of the garden bed doesn't matter to the plant. The plant doesn't care. If the bed is 100% level you have to understand where to invest your energy and where not to invest your energy based upon your goals. And so lots of people, and I used to be this way too before I started understanding this about the mind, is how to see, okay, well, our goal is to grow the maximum produce possible. And so for that, what matters and what doesn't matter. And then just kind of put by the wayside the things that don't really matter that much. And you will get a lot done. When you start living with that philosophy, you will get a lot more done. A lot of things will start happening. So, yes. Ooh, Lynette Lawrence says, "This is why I enjoy your channel. I am never bored, especially on your Saturday lives. Thank you. I lose focus on most channels, but never on this stream." Nice. Thank you for that comment. And it's probably because we do jump around. We jump around to a lot of different things and we talk about it, and so it keeps it kind of fresh. And then also, I eat stuff, oh my gosh, I eat stuff and we got all kinds of things that we're talking about. We never got to the tomatoes. you basically just kind of mush it around in your mouth and experience the unbelievable flavor, and then it just swallow. It's just amazing. So, all right, enough of that. But guys, let's see, we got a little bit left. So, Look to Nature says, Nate, Epsom salt dilution rates for okay, so Epsom salt dilution rates. Now, if it's a maintenance, it's 1 teaspoon per gallon. If it's to correct deficiencies, 1 tablespoon a gallon. You can do, at this point in the season, you can do 1 tablespoon a gallon. But if it is just kind of for good measure, 1 teaspoon a gallon is what you want to do. 1 tablespoon a gallon, though, will not be a problem. Oh my goodness. This is going to be a thing that happens. Thank you, Big Will Dog, for that. Yes, there's going to be a calendar with me posing with the Maine Coons. A whole pride of Maine Coons. I had to grow everything out a little bit more, though. Yes, thank you. Big Wes, okay, okay, so I think I gave it, right? Epsom salt to water. Maintenance, 1 teaspoon. If you're trying to correct a deficiency, or if it's like a one-time thing, 1 tablespoon a gallon. Val says, anything I can put in the soil that will kill the next year's squash bugs. Beneficial nematodes, maybe? I don't know about the beneficial nematodes. I'm sure that there is. I'm not sure, but I'm sure there probably is one that is marketed for that. But I've never used one for that purpose. I even bought some beneficial nematodes this year to get rid of the symphyllins to try, because you remember the past 4 years they've been a total nightmare. I couldn't grow anything in that plot. Everything was just struggling hard. And nothing no J-Dom, no sulfur, no Jerusalem artichoke, none of that stuff did anything whatsoever to the symphyllins. And so then, so we did the garden renovation last year, and I decided to do a new form of growing, which is not really new to me. This is how we did it in California. So of cultivating. It's not like a deep tillage, but like a cultivating every time you plant. So I've got the still or steel, however you want to call it, attachment, combi attachment with a cultivator. Just and each time plants go into the ground, that's what we cultivate with that. And so, but we did do a deep till for the whole garden renovation. And then we did, you saw the videos. So that has done it. That has done it. I didn't even need to use the beneficial nematodes. I was going to. They were $100 for the little tiny pack of nematodes. But they're still in the refrigerator because I wanted to be able to tell, is it the environmental conditions that I've done that is finally going to work, or what? I don't want to get too confused and say, well, maybe it was the tilling and the landscape fabric, or maybe it was the beneficial nematodes. I wanted to remove that variable because they've been such an unbelievable pest for me the past several years. This year, totally gone. I saw one earlier in the season, but it was just like a leftover. Just everything is growing amazing. And so there's not the slightest symphyllin problem at all. I attribute that to 2 things. One is the cultivation, getting everything, because after 5 years of no-till and constant mulch, there was just so many little burrows and pathways and places for them to live. So many places for them to live. And by collapsing all of that, you still have the soil aggregates, though. The aggregates are still there. It's just, it recovers really quickly. It does, if the soil's bursting with life. And so I attribute it to the cultivation, but also getting rid of the organic mulches. Now, it pained me to do this because I love the organic mulches, but guys, it has solved so many issues by not having the organic mulches. No slugs whatsoever all year. I have not seen a single slug all year. I'm trying to think, is that literally true? And I think it is literally true. I do mean that. I have not seen a single slug all year. And also flea beetles, and there's still cabbage worms, of course, because they're from above. But that's easy with the BT. And there's like grasshoppers, but not a ton, because there's so many praying mantises. But I tell you, it's just the way to go. It's the way to go. And it's all part of the Viking growing system. Yeah. Thank you, Stone Creek. I appreciate that. Wolf's friend says many grow food in plastic containers, which is bad. Yeah, I've definitely got thoughts on that. We don't even have time for that right now, but I address that in its own particular module in the Viking growing system course. Yeah, see the microplastics in food. Now, most of the microplastics come from packaging. It would come from plastic packaging. It would not come from there being plastic fabric covering the soil. Because, and I've looked deeply into this, and still you will not find any study, anything at all. And if you can find one that proves any of this, please send it to me, because I would like to know it. But there is no mechanism by which the plant will uptake plastics through its roots. If it's in contact, meaning if your potatoes are in plastic bags, if your strawberries are in plastic crates, if they're shipped in plastic, which everything is, then that's where it's coming from. But the roots themselves don't have a mechanism by which to uptake these plastics, because there are countless things in the soil that the plants don't uptake because they don't need it, and they haven't developed systems to uptake them. So plastics are the same. So we could go way deeper into that, but we're done for now. We're done for today. Okay. So we will. Yeah, RK. Supposedly there is nematodes for them. Yeah. So for the squash bug thing, supposedly there's nematodes for them. I don't know. Good to hear. Don says, thanks. Every year my garden is better than the year before. Thanks to you for the Viking knowledge. You're very welcome, my friend. And that's good right there. That's what we can hope for. Every year is better than the previous. You learn a little bit more, dial in your system a bit more, and before you know it, you're growing amazing amounts of food. So, okay, guys. Well, we got to get on with the day. So I appreciate you being here. I appreciate all the contributions and the input. And you guys can check out the Viking Cleanse down below. And if you're shopping on Amazon, make sure that you do it through the Viking storefront link in the description, please. Thank you, and we'll see you next time. Okay, Wolf's friend, please send me some kind of study that proves this. I've never been able to find one. I'm not saying that there isn't one, but I'm saying that it's actually not proven that that is possible at all. It is thought, it is a hearsay, or it is a, okay, just how do we prove this? And then I will restructure my thought process on it. But based upon the deep diving that I've done, there is not actual proof that plants can do this. And it would go against all my understanding of soil biology anyways. So coming in contact with it, absolutely, yes. But as far as the plants absorbing the plastics, I don't think it's happening.